The courtroom footage captured a moment that would soon dominate social media and ignite a nationwide debate about toxic parenting and emotional control. Barbara Henderson, a 58-year-old grandmother, sat confidently inside Judge Judy's courtroom wearing a tailored designer suit, expensive jewelry, and the smug expression of someone who had spent her entire life forcing others to bend to her will. She looked completely certain that she would win. But within the next hour, millions of viewers would watch her entire world collapse under one of the harshest reality checks ever delivered on daytime television. This wasn't a simple family disagreement. This was a mother who had dragged her own daughter into court, demanding $50,000 because her daughter refused to name her newborn baby after her. Not an argument, not emotional pressure behind closed doors. An actual lawsuit filed through the legal system because a grown woman made her own parenting decision. The sheer entitlement stunned everyone involved. But there was something even darker hidden beneath the surface. What nobody knew when the cameras began rolling was that Judge Judy had spent the previous evening reviewing years of legal records, complaints, restraining orders, and disturbing reports tied directly to Barbara Henderson's past. What she uncovered painted the picture of a woman whose obsession with control had destroyed nearly every relationship in her life. And by the end of this case, Judge Judy was going to expose every piece of it. Jennifer Martinez sat quietly at the plaintiff's table, visibly exhausted and emotionally drained. At only 28 years old, she had recently given birth to her first child, a baby girl named Emma Grace. Instead of enjoying the happiest chapter of her life, she found herself defending her basic right to choose her own daughter's name. Her hand shook as she held a folder packed with evidence. Her eyes were swollen from crying, and the stress of motherhood mixed with months of harassment had left her emotionally shattered. The name Emma Grace wasn't random. Emma honored Jennifer's husband's late sister, who had passed away years earlier in a tragic accident. Grace was Jennifer's own middle name. Together, the name represented love, remembrance, and family connection. But Barbara Henderson didn't care about any of that. From the moment Jennifer announced her pregnancy, Barbara had already decided the baby would be named Barbara Rose Henderson Jr. She never asked Jennifer. She never discussed it with the family. In her mind, the decision had already been made because she believed she deserved that honor automatically. She spent thousands of dollars ordering customized baby blankets, nursery decorations, clothing, and gifts embroidered with her own name. She proudly told relatives, neighbors, and friends that her namesake granddaughter was on the way. To Barbara, this child existed as an extension of herself. So when Jennifer finally revealed the name Emma Grace, Barbara exploded. She screamed at her daughter over the phone, accusing her of betrayal and disrespect. She appeared at Jennifer's home uninvited and berated her for hours. She called her selfish, ungrateful, and cruel. Every attempt Jennifer made to explain the emotional meaning behind the name was ignored completely. Barbara didn't care about honoring a deceased family member. She cared about control. After Emma was born, the situation became even worse. Barbara refused to visit the hospital. She refused to meet her own granddaughter. Instead, she bombarded Jennifer with angry texts, threatening emails, and endless demands that the birth certificate be changed immediately. Then she crossed a line nobody expected. 3 months after the baby's birth, Barbara filed a lawsuit seeking $50,000 for emotional distress and what she described as a breach of implied family obligation. Even Judge Judy, who had seen decades of ridiculous lawsuits, recognized immediately that something about this case felt deeply disturbing. The lawsuit itself was absurd. No court recognizes a grandparent's legal right to control a child's name. But the mindset behind it fascinated Judge Judy. The level of entitlement required to sue your own daughter over something so personal revealed a much larger pattern. And that's exactly why she started digging deeper. Barbara entered the courtroom that day with total confidence. She carried a leather portfolio packed with spreadsheets, financial records, and printed documents she believed would prove her case. According to Barbara, raising Jennifer had cost over $284,000. She had carefully calculated every expense from childhood through college tuition, school fees, food, dance lessons, medical bills, clothing, housing. To Barbara, parenting wasn't unconditional love. It was an investment, and she genuinely believed her daughter owed her repayment through obedience. As Barbara spoke, her lack of self-awareness became impossible to ignore. She described herself as a loving, devoted mother who had sacrificed everything for her child. While portraying Jennifer as selfish and rebellious, she repeatedly used words like respect and family loyalty, but what she truly meant was complete submission. Judge Judy remained silent through most of Barbara's testimony, calmly taking notes while allowing Barbara to expose herself with every answer. Then came the questioning. Judge Judy asked whether Jennifer had ever signed any agreement promising to name her child after Barbara. No, Barbara admitted, but these things should be understood in families. Judge Judy asked whether Barbara had consulted Jennifer before spending thousands on personalized items with her own name. Barbara replied confidently that she already knew what the baby would be called. Then Judge Judy asked how many times Barbara had visited her granddaughter after birth. Barbara casually admitted she had refused to meet baby Emma for 3 entire months because she was waiting for Jennifer to fix the name situation. The courtroom fell silent. Judge Judy's expression changed slightly. It was the kind of look longtime viewers recognized immediately the moment she realized someone had just destroyed their own case without understanding it. The questioning continued. Judge Judy asked Barbara about her own mother. Without hesitation, Barbara explained that she had cut contact with her mother years earlier because her mother was controlling and toxic and constantly tried to dictate her life. The irony hit the courtroom instantly. Audience members exchanged stunned looks while Barbara remained completely unaware that she had just described herself perfectly. Judge Judy leaned forward slightly. "What makes someone a good mother?" she asked. Barbara launched into a long explanation about providing financially, enforcing discipline, and demanding respect from children. She talked about sacrifice, authority, and obedience, but she never once mentioned emotional support, compassion, encouragement, or unconditional love. To Barbara, motherhood was about ownership. Jennifer sat silently listening as tears streamed down her face. For the first time, someone with authority was exposing the truth she had spent her entire life trying to survive. Judge Judy asked one final question before everything changed. "Do you believe parents have rights over their adult children's decisions?" Barbara answered passionately that mothers never stop being mothers, and that adult children owe their parents lifelong obedience, consideration, and loyalty. She truly believed she was the victim. That's when Judge Judy opened the thick manila folder sitting on her desk. The atmosphere inside the courtroom shifted instantly. Judge Judy addressed her formally. "Mrs. Barbara Elizabeth Henderson," formerly Barbara Elizabeth Thompson. Barbara's confidence disappeared immediately. Before I address this lawsuit, Judge Judy said calmly, I think everyone here deserves to understand the pattern of behavior that defines your life. The courtroom became completely silent. Judge Judy revealed that she had reviewed years of legal records connected to Barbara, including restraining orders filed by all three of her ex-husbands. Each case described emotional abuse, manipulation, harassment, and obsessive controlling behavior. One ex-husband accused Barbara of attempting to isolate him from friends and family. Another described constant intimidation and public humiliation. The third ended the marriage after less than 2 years because he could no longer tolerate her rage and refusal to respect boundaries. But the most devastating revelation was still coming. 15 years ago, Judge Judy continued, you sued your own mother for $55,000 because she refused to pay for your wedding. Gasps spread through the courtroom. Judge Judy explained that Barbara had accused her own mother of being controlling and toxic after refusing financial support for Barbara's third marriage. The case had been dismissed as frivolous. Barbara immediately tried to interrupt. That was completely different. Judge Judy shut her down instantly. Was it? Or did you simply call your mother toxic because she refused to obey your demands? Barbara froze. Judge Judy continued dismantling her piece by piece. You sued your mother because she wouldn't give you what you wanted. Now you're suing your daughter for the exact same reason. The revelations kept coming. Judge Judy exposed complaints filed against Barbara during her time on a homeowners association board, where she abused authority to target neighbors she disliked. She detailed workplace complaints accusing Barbara of bullying employees and creating hostile environments. Everywhere Barbara went, the same pattern followed her control: manipulation, conflict. Then Judge Judy addressed the most disturbing part of all, the false CPS report. Judge Judy revealed that Barbara had filed a fraudulent complaint against Jennifer and her husband, accusing them of neglecting their newborn baby simply because Jennifer refused to obey her demands. Judge Judy called it exactly what it was: harassment. Then came the verdict. Mrs. Henderson, Judge Judy said firmly, your lawsuit is not only frivolous, it is malicious, abusive, and vindictive. Barbara sat frozen. You are not entitled to control your adult daughter's choices. You are not entitled to decide your granddaughter's name. And you are certainly not entitled to $50,000 because someone refused to surrender to your demands. Then Judge Judy delivered the line that would soon spread across the internet worldwide. Your daughter didn't name her baby after you because she doesn't want her child growing up to become like you. The courtroom erupted. Barbara's face turned bright red as she struggled to respond, but Judge Judy wasn't finished. I am dismissing this lawsuit with prejudice. You will pay your daughter's legal fees totaling $8,500. I am also strongly recommending that Jennifer pursue a restraining order if your harassment continues. Barbara looked completely shattered, but Judge Judy saved her harshest words for the very end. In over 35 years on the bench, I have rarely encountered someone with so little self-awareness and so much destructive narcissism. You listed every dollar spent raising your daughter as though love were a financial transaction. You punished your granddaughter by refusing to meet her because your ego was wounded. And throughout this entire proceeding, you have shown absolutely no remorse. The courtroom remained silent as Judge Judy delivered the final blow. You need professional help. But people like you rarely believe they are the problem. Jennifer broke down crying, overwhelmed by relief and validation. After years of emotional abuse, Barbara stood slowly, trembling with rage. As security escorted her out, she shouted one final sentence that cameras captured perfectly. "I'm her mother. She can't cut me off. I have rights." Judge Judy responded immediately. "No, Mrs. Henderson, you don't." The episode exploded online within hours. Millions of people shared clips from the courtroom confrontation. Mental health professionals praised Judge Judy for publicly exposing narcissistic parenting behaviors. Thousands of viewers shared stories about toxic parents and controlling family members who had manipulated them for years. Jennifer became a symbol of strength for adults learning to set boundaries. And baby Emma Grace grew up surrounded by love instead of control. Because sometimes the most savage thing a person can do isn't cruelty. Sometimes it's simply telling the truth out loud.